come together and celebrate themselves. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be having lectures on Igwe and Igweship and other topics. It's going to be an intellectual exercise. So all our youths, please, I want you to pay good attention, because you're going to take with you valuable information that you can use to develop yourself and inform your friends of Achina, of our Igwe and Igweship. So it's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to bring the person that will moderate the event this evening. Somebody that we know that is a specialist in news, information, and dissemination of them. Somebody that is a renowned journalist. Yes, his name is Idegwu Amahe. Of course, Idegwu Amaro. Yeah, so that speaks volume of this man. South Regional Editor of Summit News. It's a national newspaper. And if you're in Port Harcourt, River State, Aba, online, Facebook, YouTube, you must key into this man's program. I think it's every Sunday. I enjoy it from Atlanta, Georgia. He does a whole lot with Super FM Port Harcourt. If you just Google it or go to YouTube, you will see his program. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to moderate this function our own, the one and only, Mazi Chukwudi Ejimafo. Please say hi.
With this, all the accolades given to me. However, that's who I am. I'm not Achina. Achina. I didn't think Achina. A weapon care, no obodo Igbo. It is one Achina. So we are going to mix it up, ladies and gentlemen. So on behalf of Ofala Committee, I'm here to moderate this. This is second in series of the program that is preceding the Ofala. The first one has gone this morning, church service. The second one is this lecture on Igwe and Igweship in Achina, past, present, and future. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be very explosive. It's going to be very explosive. Obisamara has said it all. We are trying to bring the youths. I say, so at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I enjoy us. Cover this place. It's here. Ezaka Ikenya Biko Kedana Deba Nahibu. We're expecting other people, and we're now Papa Namuku. It's here. Odera. It's here. Odora, Ejike, Umugokwe, because they are not there. Don't mind the scanty nature of this place, festival of His Royal Highness Igwe Ndemeka Godwin Obiora. Idegwu nke atọ Igwe Achina. Ịchọzie ka Obito ịkpọ ya ọnọdụ ụfọdụ n'ime ha nọ there. Those that will confirm the chieftaincy title by tomorrow, they are all here. I also recognize all of us. I recognize I'm going to unfold him. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. Hello? Ono mana nnukwu mmọnwụ mgbe o ji apụta, ọ na-apụta n'ijere, ọ na-apụta ya n'ahịa obi ikpo. Music DJ. Ka anyị wee na-edezi onwe anyị. I'll back. Interesting. And the first in the series will be presented by Chief Achina Achina. We'll go to the chamber, and I will also enjoy him to come and sit here as we are here. It's the name that rings bell. Please clap for him. The next person to be here, who will also present here, is Dr. C.D Ochuba, Dean, School of Business Education, Federal College of Education, Technical, Homonze. He is also the Secretary General of Achina Community. I will, first of all, as Dr. Ochuba is sitting down, I wouldn't allow him to sit down. Dr. Ochuba, your topic is on traditional institution as a fourth tier of government. Traditional institution as a fourth tier of government.
Being alive. Thank you for John Messi granted to most of us who travel all the way from different destinations to be here for the ceremonies we are having. Today we are about to take off for Idegwu and Igwe lectures. We pray that you will be with us. All the deliberations, all the things we should do here, we be blessed in Jesus' name we pray. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. In the name of the Father.
Please give us a prayer.
The responsibilities to opening remark. It's a very simple one. We may all know why we are here. We are not here to correct rise or we are not calling or anything. We are here to listen to lectures regarding the history of our community, especially as they relate to that of equation, the past, the present, and probably the future. I want to be very particular about the young men and women I found here. I found it very, very interesting. You are very, very welcome. You are the people who are going to benefit from this lecture more than anybody else. say, where are you from? Say, I'm Achina. Fine. Beyond that, you may not know so much about who we are and how we got to where we are. So it's important that you listen to the lecture, learn what you must, take that away, because in the next 10, 15, 20 years, you may find yourself coming to give this kind of lecture to people who will be your children and their children. So to that extent, I say congratulations. Having said that, I would invite everybody else who is here to please pay attention and listen to the lecture. Thank you.
When the says live on Facebook through BrainPower, our own, in fact, you see a live. So if you get to this Facebook page, you see us live, and they have a lot of followers. That's why we are proud of you. BrainPower, continue the good job you're doing. We want to thank our man, our own God, for what he has given to us. We want to commence in earnest.
The chairman, Idegwu, Achina, Udora, Omenife, members of the high table, ladies and gentlemen, from the original procedure, I was supposed to be the second speaker because what I'm about to talk takes effect from what the first speaker would have talked about. The first speaker was supposed to talk about chieftaincy in Achina and the rest of them. And my topic is about traditional institutions and as a frontier government in Nigeria. The truth is that if we do not recognize what the Igwe is doing and the traditional institutions are doing in the town, we may not be able to advocate for them to be recognized as the fourth-tier government. It is practically impossible for us to do. So as a word of introduction, I want to tell you by starting that traditional institutions for centuries have been the bedrock for administrative organizations in traditional African settings. They played a very significant role in administrative processes of their respective territories before, during the advent of colonial administrations. And it's very clear. Remember that these colonial masters, what they did, how they survived, or how they survived was simply they tried to capture what is already on ground. And by doing that, what they simply did was to capture the institutions that were already established. So it's not as if this traditional institution just started today. It has been there. That is why I said, even before the colonial masters, those who colonized us, even before they came, I want to tell you, these institutions has already been there.
First Vice President Achina now speaking.
The traditional institutions are development catalysts and agents for mobilization, for policy implementation, monitoring and review of policy options. Hence, the recognition of the traditional institutions as fourth tier of government will further strengthen the institution to take an active role in ensuring good governance in every society. A society that fails to have good governance, I want to tell you that society is already a mess, and we wouldn't want or wish to experience such. By definition of traditional institutions, we say traditional institutions have been summed up as the agencies and custodians of traditional practices. Ọha na-ahụ na omenala na ihe ejimara ndị na na-ejikwa ya ọfụma. Without them, I want to tell you, it may not work. We may not be able to preserve our institutions and our traditional practices and the rest of them. So they are not just there for these traditional practices. They are actually also part of our developmental, the catalyst for development. Or the customary regulatory bodies that moderate the ordinary business of life in an ethnic setting. Remember, I'm talking most of these things because of time. You know, we started very late. I may not be able to go into serious details as I prepared this lecture. So from the above definition I have given you, it is very clear that whoever heads such institution is called the traditional ruler. In our own local parlance here, we can simply refer to the person as Igwe or Eze. Manu manabe na ba ya ba no ihe iji mara o gini Eze Igwe ma Eze anyị na-akwụkwọ ha na-abụ mana Igwe batara ka na ihe aja na onye ọrụ ya kwụ ọtọ tiwe Igwe goshi. This is the way we refer to such persons who are in charge of our traditional institutions. Now let us quickly look at the importance of these people, because if there were no importance attached to them, I don't see the reason for this research work. It may not be necessary delving into it on the first instance. Number one of them is what we call sustaining culture and customs. Obodo enweghị ihe eji mara ha, mara ihe ndị ji wee biri, and ọkwa ndị Igbo a na-ahụ na ihe ndị ahụ niile dị. I want to tell you the truth. Unu zuo ụmụ nwoke ịtọ ma ịnọ na Achina na-aga be Igwe. And I want to tell you, this thing just happened the other day too. As a man na-ebe ahụ, ị ga-adịlewe onwe gị ajụjụ wagharịa si ebutere ọjị gịnị ka ị ga-eme? Onye ka ị na-ebi? Jekwa ama onye ị ga-enye? Ọ ka mere nke mbọchị a na-agwa gị. Akwakọ visit ka ndị Idegwu planning committee gara ejere ka kpamkpa abamebi ime ka iji onye a ya dagharịwa ana ọ ga-akụzie ihe ozugbo. So what you are saying that mgbe ọ dị gara na be Igwe, you must, as a man, you must have this thing at the back of your mind, that issues like this can do what, can come up, and you must be abreast of that. Trying to be abreast of such a thing, invariably are telling you that you are trying to do what? Practice your culture. And when I was saying, oh no, na nke ụkọchukwu ma na nke fada ka ị gara, ụdị ihe anyị agbata gị n'obi, ọ asị fada bịara anyị ebere. Mana nke a na ị ga-akpọji ya aga ije, gaa ya otu Achina si eme, ọkacha ọ daa ihe ọnụ ọbụla atọ, gị ma na o nwere otu ọjị si aga ije na be anyị. And that is that. Without such thing, without ịga na nke Igwe ma ime ihe a, ma ị nọ ebe a na-eme ihe obodo, iwe ejide ha ma gwekwa ebe ị ga-aga ya. Mgbe ha na-ekwu ya dị ka a ga-asị a na-akọ akụkọ efu. Number two, we're talking about maintaining peace. Ka m were ebe Igwe kwuo ha maka okwu Igwe ka aka na-akọ. I'm telling you that ịmara ikpe ole dị Igwe na ihe a na-egbochi ebe ahụ, you may not wish to take over that throne. Ọ bụrụ ya masịrị ya wụ na family ụlọ ka ọ mara n'isi ma ọ na ọ pụtara n'ụtọ, you may not wish to. Why? Because in fact, if you go to such a place, man, even people can iji gwazikwa oge na mma ihe na-ekwu. And ama m mgbe emetụtara ya aka, mana ihe eji ihe metụrụ ya aka. And that is just that. Litany of cases. And without these cases being settled, I want to tell you, obodo ga na-enwe ọkụ and imagine that such a thing is not there. The courts cannot rest. The police cannot rest. But most of these things, about 50%, 60% of them are being settled at that palace. And it is on record today. So I want you to tell you that everyone in Igwe na-ekele maka ihe ọ na-ejiri Achina na ka nkụ, and it is part of their duties. So while we are trying to maintain peace, number 3, I talked about settling disputes, and I believe 2 of them were touched at the same time, because you cannot maintain peace without settling disputes. The congestion of correctional centers. Correctional centers represents our prisons and the rest of them, our cells and all of them. Manangwa wali ibe ebiri na biwe it is going to police go jaga court. Owashi. And though ibe gara court, get your mama ibe we ku obi ga gene ega prison. The congestion, trying to reduce the number that is going there. And when these cases are settled down here, there may not be any need to go further. You see yourself, seeing your brother and sister as brothers and sisters indeed, where you greet talk and exchange pleasantries at any point in time. Number 4, we talk about religious authorization. In the olden days, traditional institutions used religious authorities to resolve issues related to marriage, marriages, land disputes, land dispute settlements, etc. among the people in their respective communities. Although adherents to the local traditional religions are few nowadays. No traditional institutions age settle many cases, even though marriages including based in all these days, those things are gradually wearing off. And that is why we are continuing to call that this institution should be strengthened so that they go back to their original days in which people know about them and respect them so much. When I'm Kanondo, when ekpekata n'ikpe ekpekata onye na-asị nna nna ya gwara onye na-esi nna nna ya gwara ya amaghị nke a na-ese eso. Kedu otu esi akpa ikpe na akwa ihe iri? Oh yeah, this is part of the traditional institutions we are talking about. And gịnị ha mere? Erukwe n'ebe a maka isi na-eje ụka ewetara gị Baịbụl iji anụ isi na omenala ewetara gị arụsị ejiji anyị iyi na ihe niile. Nna m mgbe esi n'oge ụka ka ọ kwụ onye Katọlik ọ nọrọ ka a gara na St. Charles. Mgbe wụcha ndị ụka si ọ nọrọ ka eji eje mee ihe dị na ya masị na eruru nke a na ịhụ Baịbụl e butere na ọsọsọ otu esi kwado Baịbụl. Onye nke ọzọ ghara ya asị mba na ekpughere ya n'abalị na nke nwa jikwa mme na-eje ha n'oyi ya oyi. Otu a ka ikpe achịwela nwezi ebe ọ gara gazighị kọt. Why? Maka ndị omenala na obodo na-ekwu lekwe ihe dị ebi ikpe lekwe otu e ga-esi mee eji wee gabazie nke ọrụ maka na gịnị ha asị na ụka ka ha na-eje. Mana a sị ka esi kwadochia Baịbụl na-agha anụ iji ọnwụ na ede shọ dịka na-akọ ihe ede shọ ọ ga-ama isi ga na gịnị lawa kama ya kọọ ofu ihe ka onye na-esikọ na-ekpughere n'abalị onye ọ na-eme gịnị kpọrọ nkịta ya lawa n'oge. And that is what they were doing. And remember, these things settled, we are settled just that way. Nobody heard about it. Till today, all of my coming anyway, only they have and they didn't have cases, and a lot of them were being settled amicably that way. Social authority and influence. The traditional rulers, who is the head of traditional institutions, they have a lot of social influence on the people. Election, when they make election because Igbo represents the people, and more especially the right people. So what happens if you go to them, meet them? I work in Kerejo. Ụzọ adịkwa n'ebe dị na-aga ndị be anyị lekwe ihe ha chọrọ lekwe otu ha si chọọ ya adịkwa m chọrọ na ha ga-atụ gị wụrụ onye nke ha chọrọ asị gị mba gị na ọdụ ka a na-akọ ọ gị ka a na-achọ. And that was what to do that. What I am saying here happen tomorrow. Because he's in a position to know who and who is doing what is right in the society, in the community in which he's what ruling. And when you go to this, then I get to remove, I get to can you let it to a man now? They can go to an or what is the Roman or Makechi? Therefore, the concept of the first tier of government refers to the idea recognizing and formalizing the role of traditional rulers. So what we are trying to say about this paper, I'm sure that government, I want to tell you the truth. Despite all the good things the traditional rulers have been in their respective societies and communities, and that is why we are saying, could the traditional rulers institution or traditional institution be recognized as the fourth tier? The only what we recognize in Nigeria is just the three tiers of government: the federal government, the states, and the local government. And we can see how they're operating. I'm not here to start telling you what and what they do, but note that Abeguna states are in Ghana for federal laws in the federal and when federal institutions in the federal when states, when but yet, I want to tell you also, some communities have not felt the impact of both the federal, the states, the local governments. I want to tell you, some communities, they have not had any impact of the state. I'm not talking about the federal, the federal or the local government. Local government, these things are not possible. But today, with the clamor for these institutions, I want to tell you, this development, this impact will definitely must touch every nook and cranny of every state, because every community in the state were a traditional ruler. The concept of fourth tier of the government. This concept is particularly relevant in the countries
Idegwu the third, Igwe Godwin Nomeka Obiora, Igwe Onanini, live. Live on this program.
If I don't my God. Having welcomed our traditional ruler, C.D Ochuba and Others, the concept of the fourth tier of government, I said this concept is particularly relevant in countries with rich cultural heritage. Remember, Nigeria has over 300 ethnic groups, and these 300 ethnic groups, not the rich people now. So for that reason, the traditional government system, where formal recognition can empower communities, where formal recognition can empower communities and promote inclusive decision making. The fourth tier of government concept acknowledges the significance of traditional institutions in one, preserving the cultural heritage, resolving conflicts, and promoting community development. With all sincerity, because of Achina, these are ways of imparting the community through development, which is behest. If I'm not mistaken, on the age grade here. Thank you. And finally, providing grassroots representation. By recognizing traditional institutions as a fourth tier of government, Governments can, one, foster greater collaboration and cooperation. To leverage traditional knowledge and wisdom. Maka o nwere ihe ndị anya manere obodo, ihe ndị igwe ma ndị Tinubu ama ha na ndị nọ na legislature amarọ. E nwere ihe a ga-amụta n'aka ha. Maka enwe ha na that collaboration, surely there must be exchange of ideas. E nwere ihe a ga-amụta n'aka ndị nọ na mgbogo. When ndị nọ na mgbogo ga-amụta n'aka ndị nọ na mgbada. Enhance community engagement and participation. And finally, to strengthen cultural diversity and inclusivity. Therefore, we now talk about a call for fourth-tier government. Remember that ideally, the essence of local government is simply to do what? Take development to local and rural areas. That's the idea, and a very wonderful one. But the big question is, how well are they doing this work? I'll give you an instance with Idegwu Monya. If not this road that just passed there this year, I want to tell you there's never an evidence or any impact of the states, even the federal there. Or if local governments then with the behavior for the past 20 years, it is on record that the monthly allocation to local governments never got to them, almost in all the states in Nigeria. For the past 20, because most of the work the state governments are doing are their monies. Because what they do is just take away the one that will do for salary for local government workers. The rest go back to the state government coffers. And from there, they start doing whatever they wish to do, depending on who can influence them to come to your area. Mana, Asena, Idegwu, they're empowered within their locality. It didn't happen to the general also. Or when here the Idegwu nke talk about, yeah, we lega one or the possible. It's not possible. He will first of all do whatever he wishes to do here. Makana didn't know any national or the former governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduche, at the invite of the chairman of Abia State, Southeast Council of Traditional Rulers, His Royal Majesty Ezebere Chikik, in August 2018, for the conferment on him the chieftaincy title of Agone Chamber of Igbo Land. The lion that protects Igbo people, called on federal governments to consider adopting traditional institutions as the fourth tier of government. The governor advocated for traditional institutions to end high esteem, saying, in his words, it is important to restate that the traditional institution in our society, regardless of the advent of modernization, remains a rallying point for the generality of our people. Remains a rallying point for the generality of our people. Telling you that you cannot do without the traditional institution. So for that reason, why are they not being recognized at the federal level? And that is why we are here to continue to advocate for that. Also, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the current Speaker, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, on 3rd July 2024, has said that the 10th Assembly under his leadership has taken steps aimed at actualizing constitutionally recognized role for traditional institutions and the autonomy for local governments in Nigeria. He went further to say that the 10th House, under my leadership, will do its best to give recognition to traditional rulers during our constitution amendment exercise. Remember, for you to amend, what does it simply mean? That something is wrong. Why amend it when it is good? It's not possible. So trying to tell you something is already wrong there. And both people up there and down here have recognized that there is need to recognize the traditional institution. Many amendments were made in the past to grant constitutional recognition to the traditional rulers, but they never saw the light of the day. Because most of us in the House honestly believe that traditional institutions are the backbone of our society. We believe that the welfare of our people will be more enhanced with a legal role for traditional institutions. So our problem is that we are not that we don't recognize that this institution should be recognized. Or who will beg the cat? Who will beg the cat? A lot of attempts have been made by past House of Assemblies, both at the state level and the national level. Yet, none of them have beared good fruit. But this 10th Assembly, as we have just read, are promising that they will do something differently this time around to make sure that this bill sees the light of the day. At a time when the country is flitting through the most difficult period in its history, given current insecurity, situation, and agitation for secession by some ethnic groups, the recognition of traditional institutions at the fourth tier of the government will be seen as an effort for effective and efficient integration and stable nationhood by engaging ethnic tribal clan structures in all local diaspora communities of Nigeria for national development. And they want to say the time for that is what? Now. The time is now. That now our traditional institution is being recognized legally in Nigeria. I want to tell you, Nigeria may not be seen or heard again. However, there are challenges to the recognition. One of the major challenges is the detachment from institutional cultural values. Ụfọdụ ndị Igbo anyị kwa anachaghị eme itechagba ya. So mgbe ụfọdụ apụta aka na ụfọdụ ndị na-adịghị emete wee na-ejide because they are seriously derailing from their role. Two is that it's only at the state level that they are being recognized. At the national level, they are not. Even at the state level, they are being recognized. They are only recognized simply for their worth, simply for advisory level. They are just there to advise the government. And they are doing advice, And again, we want to state clearly that some politicians and government agencies have also hijacked the process. And it is a very serious one indeed. Because I want to give an instance. You can hear the can I don't know what south. South. One man because that's where I grew. So there are some politicians who have indeed hijacked some of these things, and it is making it indeed difficult. Having said all this, I want to tell you that our agitation is not just for us alone. We are in line and we are in order if you want to say that these traditional rulers should be recognized. I want also to give you some countries where it has been practiced and it is working. I want to tell you that in Ghana, our not too far neighbor, that their constitution recognized the traditional rulers. In South Africa, the same thing. In India, it happened. New Guinea, it happened. And these countries, I want to tell you, if you go there, you see the changes that are happening because development gets to the grassroots, and again, their values and their traditions are being maintained properly. Recommendation. This article recommended the following. One, that traditional institution, the recognition of traditional institution by government at all levels will enhance their performance, especially in managing issues relating to what? Grassroots. But the collaboration, if these people are made the fourth tier, I want to tell you, whatever that is happening here, I want to also go further to say, all that our traditional institutions have been recognized. Because from the one, we generate it in our war, we're born and and they can be the eyes of the federal government locally. Number two, the constitution roles had been given to traditional institutions in Nigeria to allow them to have a say in the administration of their various localities, not advisory role. I just told you, the only people that recognizes them are the states, and even at that state level, it's just an advisory council. But I want to say here that if you go further than that, it will be more beneficial to all of us. And finally, improved relationship between government and traditional institutions in Nigeria will virtually reduce frequent clashes between locals on issues related to farmland, culture, religion, and so on. In conclusion, the decision by the government to sponsor the traditional program is in recognition of relevance of traditional institutions to the current efforts for peace, united and sustainable nationhood. Although the Nigerian government has not recognized traditional monarchs and chiefs as agents of conflict resolution, cultural preservation and community development, but has failed to publicly pronounce them as fourth tier of government. And I want to say, if from today, with our advocates, that this change will come, it will be better for us. Thank you very much for listening.
Stand up. Let's stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Let's stand up. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit down. He's a lecturer with Federal College of Education Technical, Umunze. He's presently the Dean of Business Education, Federal College of Education Technical, Umunze. Dr. C.D Ochuba has his first, second, and third degree in economics from Enugu State University of Science and Technology, Enugu State, with over 20 years of teaching experience in tertiary institutions. He's passionate with development economics and has authored about 30 academic articles published in local and international journals. He's currently the first vice president of Achina Town Union. He's happily married with children. Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank him. Traditional institutions. The administrative convenience of states, Nigeria, and all what you have wasn't there. The traditional institution was what we are doing and what we use to settle disputes. Other Nigeria were what we call Ebrunasa. We have this age group that performs whatever. But when if you've done anything wrong in this time, we'll come together, my up, take you out of this town. And that is how we are used to it. There was no Nigeria, there was no Anambra State, there was no Agata local government. What we had was Achina, and the people that were taking care of it was the traditional heads. And I don't know, your case is as good as mine. What is the best? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
I am the chairperson. Okay, Ikenga. Udari chair. Omeniku, chief, the doc, and ladies and gentlemen, we can stand down the already established protocol. I need a Merry Christmas. Because I charge your come and I have other time. And we're tight schedule. But it's good that I'm here. The Bible says, Onya na be here something. Okay, GNC. For wisdom. And that now organizers. First of all, committee name organized Ofala is a very unique wisdom. Ka ha were say, along the line of Ofala, na ga-enwe this lecture. And this lecture is very important. For the first time, to get in Achina, first time in the 15 years running, I know, in the leadership, traditional ruler side. He get in Achina together to tell them about Igwe, duties, challenges. Then, Amana, Awona Achina, Tim Obiha, na ihe a na-akụzi ebe a tata na ọ ga-enwetara ihe mgbanwe to that office na-represent. Then the little time nọgoro through the quality of lecture, our vice PG, Dr. Ochuba delivered. I think Hani Lebasa. Yini loku banana. Yes, AGMA politics na constitution make can recognize the traditional institution as third tier of governance. For many years, yet I can show you. Then Anambra State government, yes. Onye Manegama, if not anything, little history we can refer to. I know popular Abokova panel. So Onye Gechete Abokova panel happened around 1970 something. Then it was Atombera, my government. So it's about 40 to 50 years. So, yes, constitutionally, when edict na guide the Gosri, na Anambra State government recognize the traditional ruler institution. Then Chile Hote on them improve, but all the very slow. Then all the get slow, yeah, they stagnant. But the politicians are better. But in all, there were provisions in the Constitution Anambra State. Yes. And though now Anambra State government recognize it, can you wear as I go? You can only be an Igwe according to the law, because you must be certificated. And you must be recognized and certificated. So, yes, when I get Kachitamba, when I'm done a many Igwe, when all hand Igwe, reggae you in Igwe. The Dr. Ochuba, Kawachani of mana adị m ele anya ka olie the week mgbe ọ sịrị ụfọdụ ndị Igbo anaghị emetechakwa ya onye kọrọ mana atụghaba ya ị ga-ahụ na the problems in the society n'aka. One, how did you emerge? What is the process in the community when AJMA emerge? Igwe ọdịmma na mmadụ ga-abụ Igwe because ọ chọrọ ịbụ Igwe. Vis-a-vis n'obodo chọrọ ka ọ bụrụ Igwe before he become one. So there are so many things to it. But after the sad experience at Achina, by the time we emerged, nke a iso na ndị a na-eme nkiri. Simply because olu 5% ihe ị ga-eji bụrụ Igwe because ị chọrọ ịbụrụ Igwe, or 95% or even more because na community chọrọ ka ịbụrụ Igwe. So that power must come from the people. And Achina own delivered it that way. Constitutionally, na isere na ọ ga-adị rotational. Then ndị oru wete mmadụ now, the community will establish screening committee of about 15-21 people. Then you get screening. If you are screened in, then you stand for election. So when we make a job with all the muscles in them, but the chances are very high. Now get screened out. Then when you get screened in, the general populace will vote all out. So our own. Now our own will number one. Ndị nwere resemblance na-agwa ata anyị bụ ekwulọbịa, mana nke a bụ delegate election. Either na ụmụnna dị 20 na ekwulọbịa, asị ha niile ga-eweta 2 people or 5 people as the case may be. Then gị na-edo ka a mara ndị agha ga-abụ delegates. Then the moment you nwetara their identity, ijiri ụtụtụ gọọmenti ihe igotere ihe gị were ihe ịchọwa ya na ihe nweta ya gị were n'ime abalị, and at the end of the day a ga-enwe some compromise, but here onye ka ị ga-egote and igome ha na a ga-enwude gị, and that will make you unpopular. So our own is good, and it is because etu esi mee march ebe a ka esi wee na drive the grace anyị ejibe nwee nkọcha so much. Nkọcha, yes, nkọcha ga-adị because anyị na-ara enwekwara ndị aga ha like na ị na-ekwu eziokwu, mana nkọcha na-ekwu controversy. So 50 years running, anyị enwebeghị controversy. And onye ụbọchị na maachị na ọfụma ga-ama na it is only by the grace of God, not by the akame or Chukwu mere ya. Na ya anọgo this length of time enwebeghị controversy. Alright? So gị bịa gbakọcha ya igwe adịrị adụ anyị jiri nwee crisis for decades ka a bịazie na-ayọ ayọ. That is the real core heart of that constitution I am operate. Because all the people actually go yọpụta gị, then it is enwere chances that you cannot be screened in. So to that extent, I'm not correlating that. We're not see how ịgbakọcha process anyị we know where we are. He delivered the answer to a simple question: who owns the throne? Who can answer it? Who owns the throne? The people who know them. Good. Then in where the throne, you must support the throne to work and to deliver results. So to that extent, I think the lecture Iberatata will capture it very well. For example, individually, associations, families, ihe ọbụla ị gbara mbọ nwee tara gị ahụ gị nwee ya, ị ga na-echukwa ya echukwa. Ịchọ ụlọ ohiwe mmiri, ị ga-adị bọda adịje chikwa ya. Ohiwebegodo mmiri, ị ga-agba mbọ na-echukwa ya ka ọ ghara ihi mmiri. We cannot wait until anyị gwa ụlọ na ahụ na-ara the system. Ahụ na-ara the system akwụkwọ ka ijeme na anyị ọrụ ugbo maọbụ anyị kụọ ọrụ n'ọbịa maọbụ nọ na-atụta ego, but consciously gosi na ọngụ nwe the throne by calls of encouragement, advice. It matters so much because we all human beings ihe amaghị eme igwe. Those encouragement motivates. Nya ga-eme gị ile anya n'azụ gị ma na ndị gịnị na-emere igwe ngị na ha kwụ. I give you one simple thing that rings. I remember most times like local oldies. enwere 773 egwu si na Bob Mike bụrụ onye Gris jaa isi n'ala ya nwụọ. Mgbe ahụ o jiri jaa isi n'ala bụ na o legara anya lee anya hụ ndị hụ very high powerful bịara to watch him, o buka ya were bụrụ onye Gris dịrị emeri ede jaa isi n'ala ya nwụọ. So nlegara anya na-ahụ ọ dị ka ndị ahụ Bob Mike dịrị ahụ na Achina o buji aga m aka to deliver more on the job. So ka anyị mee na anyị nwee the truth and ka anyị kpọọ ya ihe and ọ bụrụ na onye Achina ga-aghọta so far so good as far as controversy ihe ga-eme ka ọ dị na-adị n'aka ihe Achina emebe. It's very simple. Igwe aha ọ dị nka Ochuba dịrị kwuo ndị aha adịba anọkịta ahụ ha ka ekwesịghị ịhụ ha simply because ha anaghị carry the office of Igwe very well. Ndị na-ahụ ha na-eme ha anaghị echeta na enwere ebe ha si na-enwe feeling na ndị ha na-emere Igwe nwere ike ha ga-adị happy. Otherwise kamgbe mgbe Igwe enwego political period, election period many times. Ọ mgbe nnukwu ọnwa ji abịa, right? Before you know it, you become political. Eleghị anya etu a apụga gọọmenti nọ na Anambra njeza rọngọ oku ebe APC nọ. Invariably ị na-achọ the gọọmenti okwu. Mana m cheta na Igwe ekwesịghị ịdị political active, dị ndị contented